Hey Kev,
Hi James, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Congratulations on the OBE, first of all.
Oh, thank you very much.
That knighthood can't be far away now, surely not.
Thank you.
Just to kick off, really, just in your own words, just explain why you've decided to leave at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it's been a really difficult decision. However, over the last 18 months, the role has changed significantly to the one I came in to do. And you add in what has actually happened in and around the last 18 months as well. Some COVID stuff, some bits around Rob and the fundraising that's taken place, and a bit of perspective for myself. But I just felt it was the right time. When I came back, I always said I came back to help, and I always said after 3 years I'd have a good think about what was next and what was right for me, but also what was right for the club, because it means a great deal to me. I love the club, I love the place, I love the people I work with. But what I kept coming back to was I'm just not getting enough satisfaction from the role, and I haven't enjoyed it. And it's time for me to embark on a new challenge and look to do something new. So there are a couple of things that I'm really keen to stress. I've mentioned a couple of them already. I absolutely love the club. I love the sport. I've been involved in the sport since I was 7, and that will always be the case. It's always in my heart and in my head. And I might be going doing a role away from the sport, but that does not mean that my commitment, my support, and my love for the sport will change, and I'll always have that. And yeah, it's time to move on.
I think Gary's mentioned that different roles were discussed. Was there nothing that could be done to keep you at Leeds?
We couldn't find a solution. So it was the right time, James. I think we worked. This hasn't been something that's happened over the last couple of days. This probably started in December, if I'm being honest. So I've had a number of conversations with Gary, and we got to the point at the start of this week where it was the right thing. So yeah, it's been an interesting few months. Even the last couple of weeks, you look at where we've been as a team, and having to have 2 games postponed is not great, and it just shows the difficulties and some of the challenges that the whole club has had to face. And I have to say, the club has been outstanding in its response throughout this last 15, 16 months in particular. But yeah, it's made my role be very, very different to the one I came in to do, and I just feel I'm too far away from the rugby. I'm too far away from performance, and I think certainly got some perspective from Rob, and it certainly hammered it home to me that you've got to do something you truly enjoy and you get satisfaction from, and that's where I find myself.
Yeah, I was absolutely going to say that perspective from Rob must be that you need to enjoy every minute of what you're doing, and if you're not, you've got to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So when you look back over the last 3 years, what would you be most proud of?
I think there's lots, and I think unfortunately people see the results, and it may overshadow some of where we actually are as a club. I think when I came back, we needed some stability, and I felt we've got that. I think the staff have been incredible. The players have been wonderful to work with. And I'm really proud of our young players. I'm really proud of their development. I'm really proud to see the players that they're becoming. And I mentioned a couple on here because I think they deserve it. But Nikolai, Cam Smith, Harry Newman and Jack Walker have both faced some horrendous injuries over the last 12 months, but are going to be fantastic players for this club for a long time. You look at young Morgan, who's 17 years of age and as good a talent as we've seen at the club. So I mentioned a couple there. There are a whole host of young players who are coming through and who are already established and who are getting better and better, and the future's bright. It's been a really difficult time. Certainly the first 18 months, trying to change the roster, trying to improve it, and I'm fully appreciative. Not everyone agrees with some of the recruitment decisions, but I think if you look through the past 3 years of players who have left us, I think we've got a lot more right than we have wrong, and I really hope and I believe the club's in a really good position to move forward and grow. I don't think that this squad that we have at the minute is a 3 from 8 squad. I don't believe that, and I look at the quality we've got in there, and that's why I'm probably even more disappointed with the last 2 weeks, because the performance at Castleford was as good a performance I've seen for the last 12 months. So to have our momentum broken there is tough, and one that, again, we have to regroup and pull that back together on Monday.
But you've not gone yet. You've still got time there. Is there anything in particular you want to put in place or achieve between now and the end of the season?
Continue. Our scholarship teams have been outstanding in the performances the last four weeks. Our academy and the players that have been developed there is something I'm absolutely delighted with. To see our women's team back on the field and our women's academy up and running, something I'm really proud of. And watching the club continue to grow and evolve. Of course, we're going to get judged on our first team results. Completely understand that and appreciate it. And we need to be better. We need to improve. So, I am looking forward to seeing us get some bodies back. I'm looking forward to seeing us having a fully fit squad again and really have that competition for place in around training.
And just finally for me, Kev, you've obviously gone away and come back before. Could that be a possibility further down the line?
We'll see. We'll see. I think what is clear for me at this moment in time that I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for a new challenge. And I'd never say never. I love the club, James, and I'll always help the club where I can. So once again, I'll stress that I may be sort of leaving my role, but I will help the club and the sport in any way I can.
Well said. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, just. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, Chris.
Just a couple from me, Kev, because I think JD got everything in there. I mean, more than half your life at the club, you've stated your love of the Leeds Rhinos. This must have been a really tough decision for you. Yeah,
it has been. It's something I've sort of agonised over. Like I said, I probably started reflecting in December for a number of different reasons, but started to reflect in December, and we find ourselves now middle of June having made the decision. So it's taken me a number of months. It's not been an easy decision or a simple decision. There are so many factors that were considered, and I feel like we got to the right point. I feel like it is the right decision for everybody.
Can you say what is next for you?
I think it'll become pretty clear later today. I think it'll be. I know there's a lot of speculation out there, so it'll become pretty clear today. I think what's important to me at the minute is I get the point across that I'll do everything I can for the rest of the year. I'm fully committed. Do you know what? I do understand that irrespective of my commitment, some people will change towards me. And given this decision today will change, so we'll certainly monitor that and see how it goes. But my commitment to the club and the sport will remain no matter where I work and no matter what I do next.
Thanks, Kev. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Kev, you okay?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm just wondering, could you just touch a little bit on you mentioned the role wasn't exactly what you thought it would be, and you spoke about, you thought you'd be closer to the rugby. What exactly has your role proven to be? Like, what was it that you didn't expect it to be as such?
Well, without giving you too much, because I don't think some of that is fair. But it's become very political. It's become a lot of bureaucracy. It's become a lot of red tape. And in and around that has been a difficult 18 months for everybody, with cuts and budgetary things that have been implemented in every single business, in every single walk of life throughout the UK and worldwide. So it's very much changed my role. It's become very much administration, but not enjoyable administration. So without giving too much away and without, explaining how things have changed, it's just become a role where I get no satisfaction from whatsoever. So I understand that there's a lot of people out there that don't get a lot of satisfaction from the job, and I understand I'm pretty fortunate that I get to choose. But like I said, I do think it's the right thing for everybody. The club's in a stable position. The club will continue to grow and get better, and I'll be firmly behind that supporting.
And obviously, you've still got a role till the end of the season. How much influence will you have in recruitment on field for next season, in whoever takes your role, whatever, and so on and so forth? How much input will you have into all of that?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. It's something that does concern me, if I'm honest. So, we're meeting a player this afternoon, and they're not aware of this news. So, explaining that and handling it the right way is really important. But I think what has been clear over the last 3 years, we've tried to have a recruitment and retention committee, and we've done it between the three of us, the head coach, myself and Gary, and then there are a number of other people who influence and input into that, so that we get to the right place with making sure we do our homework. That'll continue, hopefully, as planned. As I mentioned before, my commitment and my work ethic, the time I put towards the role, will not change. Unfortunately, the nature of it is people's behaviours will change towards me, and I'm aware of that. So if there comes a point where some of my role becomes difficult, then it might be a different conversation. But I'd like to think we're all grown up enough and professional enough to do what's right for the club, because that's what's vitally important here now.
Just finally for me, you mentioned you're a little bit concerned that the attitudes and behaviours may change. Can you just sort of touch on that? Do you mean like internally, externally, fans? What exactly do you mean?
Well, we'll see, won't we? I can't control that, Matt. I think I just know when you look at the outside, when you look at people who, when it's announced that they'll be leaving a role, and I've looked at other sports, other lines of work, there can be some difficulties and some challenges. I won't know that until time will be time will uncover all that, I think. So, like I said, I'll continue to give my best. Just so you guys all know, I spoke to John Dutton yesterday from the Rugby League World Cup. I am an ambassador there. I spoke to Ralph Rimmer as CEO of the RFL. I've made it pretty clear that I'll support the sport however I can, and I'll continue to do my best, because there are a number of former players the sport has who don't work in the sport, who continue to be great ambassadors and champion rugby league, and I hope to be one of those.
Thanks, Kev.
Thank you.
Hi, Kev.
Oh,
Hi, Pete.
You've not mentioned your charity work yet. I just wondered what the situation with that will be. Will that continue as it has been?
Yeah, absolutely. No change there. I think it's a really good question. And when I mentioned the word perspective earlier, that has been the biggest source of satisfaction and inspiration, all linked around Rob, obviously, but the work the club and some of our former players have done for the MND Association and for Rob will continue. And the next challenge for me, sort of away from the job, will certainly be wrapped around continuing that. And it's something that I've committed to. It's something I really want to do. You know, I saw Rob on Monday. We swapped texts yesterday. He understands exactly why, and he firmly understands that my position will not change in respect to fundraising and carrying on raising the awareness, carrying on trying to help people who are less fortunate than ourselves, but in particular who are faced with the struggles and challenges that MND brings.
And just one other thing, you mentioned in the statement, the club statement, that you won't be leaving the sport. Without obviously preempting what's going to be announced this afternoon, can you just sort of clarify what you meant by that?
I just think my heart and my head will remain firmly in rugby league. The sport has given me everything I've got. It's given me the best memories and friendships I could ever wish for. And I've played the sport since I was 7. And yeah, it still means everything to me, and that will remain. So it's not, I'm not trying to be clever with that line, by the way, Pete. What I mean is that now I can enjoy the sport as a supporter and a fan, and like I mentioned, I'll help wherever I can, whenever the club need me, if the sport needs me in any way. Like it calls on a number of former players and administrators and people who have been connected with the sport. I'll certainly do my bit to my best ability and do what I can.
Thanks, Kev. All the best.
Thank you.
Alan, Kev.
Hi, Dev.
Yeah, just a quick one from me. When you retired, you said that you obviously went into life after retirement with a bit of an open mind, and you've done all various different roles. Obviously, the rugby director at RFL and the England work as well as at Rhinos. As this recent experience made you think that you will end up long term more back on the football side coaching, or are you still got an open mind?
Yeah, I'm still pretty open-minded. I think given the last 18 months in particular, and finding myself quite a distance away from the rugby and performance, that's exactly where I want to be. And I'll be back out tonight coaching Saddleworth Rangers under-16s. It's something that I've become pretty passionate about. And I think you add to that the experiences I've faced through the fundraising and the satisfaction I've had from the fundraising of helping people, I think you can sort of understand the natural next chapter for me. So it's different. It's probably something nobody expected what we faced the last 15 months with COVID, and that's certainly thrown a spanner in the works in terms of the administrative role. But I do believe now is the right time to go down a different path.
And obviously, you'll have been asked it many times before about what your favourite memory has been as at Leeds Rhinos, not just as a player but recently as well. What do you look back on most fondly now?
That'll remain the same answer, no matter when it is. The friendships I have and the memories, and that includes the last 3 years. They've been incredible, some incredible memories, seeing some of our younger players go and do some of the things they've done, to forge friendships with them that will continue whether I'm here or not. The way the club and the staff and players, past players, have rallied around Rob and supported the Borough family and done everything they can. Something I'm really, really proud of. But yeah, those friendships, when some of the old guard get together and we go and see Rob, when the old guard get together and spend bits of time with each other, which are few and far between actually, but they're really special moments because you know that together we were a pretty good side, and you don't forget that.
Massive understatement, but thanks, Kev. Cheers again. Best luck with it all.
Thank you.
Hi, Kev. Hope you're well.
All right?
Hi, Gary.
Yeah, how's it going? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks. Are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just a couple for me. You mentioned before that Leeds is now a much more stable place than previously. What was the club like when you first walked back into the place a couple of years ago?
Oh, guys, I think we've covered that previously. I think today is a day for us to be positive about what the future will bring. Yeah. I think, I think from an outsider looking in, you could be pretty concerned at this moment in time, but I have to tell you, internally, there's a calmness, there's a plan, there's a belief that we're on the right track and that will continue. So, without digging up old ground, I think we're past that now. And I know that word transition was used that first 12 or 18 months. Now we're not in transition anymore, and we haven't been for some time. Like I said earlier, I believe the squad we have at the minute and the young players we've got coming through put the club on a really good footing.
You've talked about the future of Leeds being in stable hands and in good hands. Widening out to the game as a whole, what do you think for the future holds for Rugby League as a sport as a whole?
I'm still really optimistic, Gary. I think all sports have faced a really difficult time over the last 12 or 18 months. And I think the big challenge for all sports is around participation and numbers. And we've got to do our bit there. We've got to get more kids picking up a rugby ball, and we've got to get more kids playing. So that's the big challenge for me. But I think all sports need to work together and collaboratively and try and encourage boys, girls of all ages, of all different races and creeds and colours to pick a rugby ball up. And like I said earlier, I will continue to do everything I can to make sure Rugby League is as successful as it can be.
And just one last one for me. You mentioned before that your coaching saddle was under 16 tonight. No matter what your new role is, and it being maybe in a different sport, will that stay on? You still be coaching saddle under 16s, no matter what you're doing?
As long as I can, I will do. As long as I can. I've really enjoyed it. I think, as you know, Gary, our head coach there sadly passed away at Christmas, and my son plays in that team. We've sort of watched them since the age of 4 and 5 and seen them grow and become a wonderful group of young men, and really proud to have worked with them the last couple of years, and I'll continue that for as long as I can. The other 2 coaches alongside me are brilliant guys, and they're just a really, really good group of lads. So as long as I can help and influence, I'll continue to.
Brilliant. Cheers, Kev. Thank you very much, and best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kev. Just a couple from me, if that's okay. I was thinking you've spoken a bit about the sort of, you know, how the performance and coaching side is your sort of the real thing you're really passionate about. What is it particularly about that side of things that really fires your enthusiasm?
I think when you played the game for so long, working with players is, you know, I touched on the memories and friendships earlier, but working with players, seeing them improve and develop is something, you know, I've really enjoyed. So it's certainly an area where I look to develop and improve and get better in the future.
Yeah. What how would you describe Kevin Sinfield, the coach? What do you think his best attributes are?
You're probably best off asking some of our under-16s. We'll see. We'll see. I think you're preempting an announcement in a little while. So, yeah, we'll see. I think today is really important to focus on the club and how we move forward. And a big thank you for me as well to sort of everybody I've worked with. The fans have been incredible, as always, the supporters, our sponsors. Their commitment to the club during a very difficult time has been wonderful, and they've always been great with me. So, you know, there'll come a time when I go back to getting and standing on that south stand with them, or and really supporting and celebrating the club, and watching them grow and move forward.
Yeah, just finally from me, what are the biggest things you think you've learned from your time as director of rugby that you'll take into whatever the next chapter holds for you?
Well, the first one I'd say is you can't. The manual, or there isn't a manual. There isn't a manual, and it's probably just confirmed to me. Probably my own values and morals, and how you treat people, and being honest, and being respectful, having good human qualities. I think when you work in any environment where there's people involved, they're fundamental. And yeah, I've given it my best shot. I've tried to be fair and balanced throughout the whole of this, and yeah, that's certainly something I take forward.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kev.
Thank you.
Kev, can I just ask you a really quick one, mate? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
I was going to say, your son's a promising player in the Leeds Rhinos youth ranks now, isn't he? I think he scored last night. Does that mean that you're still going to have a sort of a tie to the club, given that your lads on the books here at Leeds Rhinos?
Well, it was certainly a consideration, Ross. It was certainly one of those factors that you know, I've thought through over this last 6 months. It's really nice to just be dad, and it'd be really nice moving forward to just be dad. That's all I've ever been, and now it's, you know, given that possibility, it's probably the right time too.
Yeah, and you obviously, I suppose, the dream scenario would be to have a fantastic finish to the season and potentially even win something like you did last year. But like you said, it sounds like you're just going to have to wait and see how it all pans out in the coming months. Yeah,
exactly. We, you know, first and foremost, let's get through this obstacle we've had with COVID over the last 2 weeks. You know, what's probably been lost in some of this is the well-being and health and fitness of the staff and players we have here who've had positive results, and those who are close contacts, and players' families, making sure they're all safe and well. So that's my priority at this stage, Ross, to try and get us back safe, well, happy on Monday morning, so that we can continue with our season. And to look any further than that at this stage, I think would probably be a little bit daft considering where we sit at the minute.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Kev.
Thank you.
All the best, and well done on the OBE. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Ross.
Any further questions?
I think that's it. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you.